Greetings, Comp 1. This is going to be a quick video, I hope, that's going over some argument sample body paragraphs written by past students. In these particular body paragraphs, we're really looking at opposing viewpoints and refutation, how to introduce opposition, and using those transitional moves. And we're going to talk a little bit about making sure you have a strong voice within the essay. Get too far into the analysis of sample paragraphs, I want to give you a few reminders for your essay. First of all, remember that it needs to be MLA formatted. It's 7 to 10 pages type. 7 is your minimum. The works cited is not included in your minimum pages. And you should start with a works cited page. You should have that running the whole time that you are working on your body paragraphs and including your research. Go ahead and copy and paste your citations from your source summaries and begin building that works cited as you go. This will help you with your in-text citations. There should be attribution and in-text citations for all paraphrased and quoted source information. You should be incorporating this to the best of your ability for your rough draft. Your complete rough draft is due by Thursday at 8:00 a.m. so we can have peer workshops. And by complete rough draft, I mean you want to get all the way through your opening, build your body paragraphs, make sure your opposition and refutation is included throughout, and a concluding paragraph. It may be rough around the edges, but it should be completed all the way through. Okay, we're going to be looking at two body paragraphs, and coincidentally, they're both about the same topic, but both paragraphs are written by different authors. And within this, I've done some highlighting. I wanted to highlight the transitional moves and signals with this blue. So anytime you see a transition happening, that the writer's making a new move or moving into a new topic, those are highlighted in this turquoise. And then attribution, those the names of the authors and also the credentials of the authors are going to be highlighted in this purple color. And then anytime that the writer is really building the argument in his own voice, his or her own voice, that is highlighted in yellow. And then finally, the source evidence and support is going to be highlighted in this green part. So to begin most of your paragraphs, I usually say a rule of thumb is that you should begin most of your paragraphs and end most of your paragraphs in your own voice, using your own words to build the argument. You need to introduce the sources. So you don't want to start your paragraphs with heavy source information. You want to organize that information in your own voice. So a rule of thumb is to try and begin, at the very least, begin and end your paragraphs with your own voice. This will ensure that you are in control of your sources. You are the one that's building the argument. So if you look at this opening paragraph here, it starts with the transition. Some people may agree that while the patients possess the right of choice and of life, the doctors too possess the right, and therefore should not have to provide euthanasia due to personal objections. These doctors who refuse to perform euthanasia are another major argument against the legalization of physician-assisted suicide. The objections can stem from the physician's own moral values and ethical issues involved in killing a patient. So the writer is setting up sort of the opposition with this phrase. Some people agree, or some people may argue. Whenever you say a phrase like that, it is a signal that this is opposition. And a lot of times we define this people more specifically. Who are those major critics? Who is the opposition? And be a little bit more specific than people. But in this case, we have this transition into opposition, and then in the writer's own voice, sort of examining this idea here that while the patients possess the right of choice and of a life, the doctors possess this right, and therefore should not have to provide euthanasia. Then the author moves into a source information, and you can see that they introduce the source with attribution. Chetan Sathya, a surgical resident of the University of Toronto, insists doctors should not have the responsibility of intentionally harming their patient, believing that euthanasia directly contradicts the doctor's Hippocratic oath to do no harm to the patient. So this is actually using source information to establish the opposition. And I want to remind you that you need both sides of the controversial issues. So it is okay to show specifically who that opposition is. Notice that right after that opposition is introduced, it's refuted. So the transitional move here is this is incorrect, however. So there's the signal that we're refuting Satya's viewpoint. This is incorrect, however. This argument fails to address there are options which avoid the doctor directly killing the patient. The writer then supports this refutation with what I assume is cited from this particular source here. But you'll see that it would have been helpful if there was an attributive tag here or wherever the beginning of this information is. So to conclude this paragraph, we're back in the writer's own voice here in the highlighted. So he's beginning the paragraph and ending the paragraph in his own voice. People like Brittany Maynard deserve to die if so desired, and through indirect euthanasia, both the patient and the physician's wants are met. The patient has the opportunity to die by choice, and the doctor is not directly involved in the death of their patient. It is your responsibility as the writer to go back through that source information and clarify the point that you're trying to make with the source information. So that's what he's doing here. He is, so in the end, he concludes this paragraph by reminding us or showing us how this indirect euthanasia is mutually beneficial for patient and physician's want. And this is all, again, in his own voice. So I did tell you this was going to be a short video. We're at about 7 minutes, and so I'm going to go ahead and stop here and not look at a second body paragraph. And I'm hoping this is helpful.